Okay, he said he blocked her. He don't want her. He's coming to see me. So, it's not nothing to worry about, right? Wrong. Wrong.
But there's a Leah, he doesn't see her. You're not looking at me, boy. But there's a Leah, he doesn't see her. You're not looking at me, boy.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you're already subscribed, thank you and welcome back. Today is the day. If you saw my last video that I talked about a long video that I was going to be doing, like a story time, and I picked today to do it because there's no noise right now, and today's my day off. I took a nap already, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. I know some of y'all probably clicked on the video because of the, well, for one, you might be a subscriber, so you might just want to see what I posted. Other reasons might be because of the title, which, yeah, it is true, but we gon' get into it. So this video is going to be about my last relationship. If you know me, you know that I was in a relationship for 8 years with someone. So from like 2011 all the way to 2020, it was not a good relationship. It was basically a narcissistic abuse relationship. And I spent 8 years in it, and in 2020 I finally left. So this is going to be about that. It's a lot that goes to the story, and I probably will get emotional during this, so it's just a lot of stuff that's happened, a lot of stuff I went through, a lot of stuff I did, it's just a lot of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to refer to this person. I'm not going to say his name, but I'm going to refer to him as R, because, I mean, that was the first letter in his name, but I'm going to refer to him as R. So, it was August of 2020, August of 2011. It was actually before August 20th, 2011. It was actually like August 4th is when I actually, I started talking to him on August 4th. Because before that, there was actually some other guy I was talking to, but it was just somebody I was talking to online, so that didn't count. But basically, I actually started talking to him from a dating website. I was like 17, I think, about to be 18, and I had never had a boyfriend or anything like that, so this person was actually my first. So I think it was like August 4th or whatever, I started texting him or whatever. We started texting like back and forth, and we texted like every single day and stuff like that. So we had been talking about like meeting and stuff. Now I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and so he actually talked about me coming to meet him or whatever, and he lived right down in St. Augustine, Florida. So I was thinking like, well, no, I'm not gonna do that because I don't know you. Like, I mean, put your thing on a dating website and said you wanted to meet someone, and I don't even know you, so I'm not about to go all the way out to St. Augustine. Basically, we made plans to like meet, and he said that his grandparents could bring him to the mall here in Jacksonville. You live in Jacksonville, Florida, you know the Avenues Mall. That's actually where we met. So we met on August 20th, 2011 at Avenues Mall. Still remember this like it was yesterday. I remember everything. I remember the moment that he walked in. I just remember everything. It's like etched in my brain. Like, even if I try to forget this, I don't think I could. I can still see the moment that he walked in the mall. I was sitting at the food court, and I saw him come through the door. I didn't know it was him, though, because he knew what I looked like, but I guess his profile picture he had, it was blurry, so you couldn't see his face. So for me, this was a blind date. I had no idea who I was looking for. I saw this guy walk through the door, and I mean, he was looking right in my direction, but then he turned the other way, so I was thinking like, well, okay, that's not him. So then he was like texting me and stuff, and he was saying, I'm here, and I was like, okay, where are you? And he was like, I'm wearing a blue shirt and blue jeans, and I was looking around because I saw maybe about 5 guys with blue shirt and blue jeans on, so I was like looking like, okay, are you in the food court? Are you around the food court? He was like, back then Radio Shack was still open, so he said, I'm at Radio Shack. And I got up and walked to Radio Shack, and I stood there, nobody was there, and I was like, okay, so like, are you playing games? Are you really here or what? The guy I told y'all about earlier, the one I said walked through the door and he looked right in my direction, he was walking up to Radio Shack and he stopped in front of me, and that was him. I was like, are you R? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'm LaQuisha, nice to meet you. And we just like hung out, we talked and stuff, we walked around the mall. We even took pictures and stuff like that. So that picture. In order to tell this story, I have to tell you everything. I have to go into detail. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll just say, if you don't have children around when you watch this video, that's all I got to say. So one of the things that we did was we went into, I think, Belk, and we kind of like walked around or whatever. And then, y'all, yes, I'm telling you, this is 100% true. We did do this. And at the time at the time I thought it was awesome. But now that I think about it, I'm like, what? So we actually went to one of the dressing rooms. Yes, the first day we met, we went into one of the dressing rooms. And the reason we did is because I told him that I had never had a boyfriend. I had never kissed anybody or anything. So we went into one of the dressing rooms, and basically I had my first kiss in there. We stayed in there for maybe like 30 minutes, but we were just like making out and stuff. It was nothing else. After that, I think we walked around some more, and then he had to leave and stuff like that. So for me, it was like, I mean, it was my first time ever doing that with anybody and being like on a real date. So, you know, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I have a boyfriend finally and stuff like that. So went home, I was like really, really happy and stuff. And for the most part, I was excited because this was definitely a new thing to me. I mean, I had kind of talked to other guys and hung out with them, but it was just like, I didn't really take it serious. So that was the first person I took serious. I don't remember exactly everything that happened, but basically in the beginning, we were just meeting at Avenues Mall. We would like hang out and stuff like that, and then his grandparents would come pick him up because he lived with them in St. Augustine. I'm trying to think if there's something that happened between that. We met probably every couple weeks. His grandparents would bring him, and we would like hang out. And there were times where we did go to the dressing room again, and we still kissed, but then we started inching like other stuff in there. Basically, we would go in there, we would make out, and then we would like maybe like feel each other up and stuff, and then we would leave. So I guess it kind of got to a point after that where the mall was starting to get kind of boring. So then he was like, well, why don't you come to my house, to my grandmother's house, and we can hang out here. And I was thinking like, I don't know. I mean, I wanted to, but I was also 17, so I had to talk to my mom about it, of course. And she was like, you know, like basically like a parent, they'll be like, well, no, you're not going way out there. Like, you just met him, he can come here and stuff. And I was thinking like, well, he has been coming here, so I don't see, I would like to go and hang out with him. It was basically a no for me to when I asked. So I basically told him, I was like, I think you should come out here some more, and then maybe I'll be comfortable coming to see you. I think that this was probably around maybe 2012. I say that because the day I told him that was actually when we had our first argument. Basically told him that, and when I did tell him, he just got mad. And he was like, he was on the phone, he was getting mad, he was like, I can't even remember everything he said, but basically he was saying like, so you don't trust me, like I've been coming out there to see you and all of this, and you just not gonna come see me or whatever. And he was getting like angry and stuff, and I was like, it's not that. I was like, I don't, first of all, I have to get my parents to drive me, and I can't remember everything that was said, but I just know we got in an argument, and eventually, I know my mom found out about it or whatever. She was there when he was on the phone, like when he was mad at me and stuff. So then she was like, okay, I'll let you go, but you're going to have to take your sister with you. So I don't remember the exact date that I did go to his place. I know it was in 2012, the beginning of 2012, or maybe the end of 2011, I don't know. I know that one time we were at the mall and they had all the Christmas stuff up, and that was in 2011. That's actually where another picture was taken. So I'm guessing that the beginning of 2012 is when I finally was able to go visit him at his grandma's, and my sister had to go with me. There's actually this little bus that comes behind the mall, and that bus goes from Jacksonville Mall all the way to St. Augustine, and that's the bus that I had caught to go meet him. And my sister got on the bus, we rode down to St. Augustine, and there was a stop. It was by a college, I forgot the name of it, but he was standing there and he was waving the bus to stop so we could get off. So when we got off, we were like happy to see each other, and then he met my sister and everything. His grandmother's house wasn't far. We had to walk from the stop and walk up the road and turn, and we would be at his grandmother's. So my sister was on his computer or whatever, and me and him were playing video games and stuff like that. So we had like a good time. Around that time I was taking like a lot of pictures because I was so happy. So that date was over with, and so we left or whatever, and basically we were doing this thing where I would come down there, then his grandparents would bring him. Then something happened that derailed him being brought there, and it was upsetting at the time, which it would be upsetting for anybody. One of the dates that we had, it was, I think this was in 2012, I know that. We were walking through the food court and we were holding hands and stuff because, we were a couple and all that. So his grandparents, they were in there, but we didn't know. And all of a sudden we heard somebody calling his name from across the food court, and we like turned around and both of his grandparents had walked up or whatever, and for some reason he like let go of my hand real fast, and I was like thinking like, what's going on? Did you not tell them we were together? Is there a problem? So they like walked up or whatever, and his grandmother, she started talking to me or whatever. And his grandmother was like this little old white lady. She had like white hair. She was like real short and fragile, and she was like talking to me about some kind of exhibit they had in the mall. And his grandfather was like this. Grandfather is Italian, so he was like this fat, round man with this really big stomach and bald head. And it was weird because when they walked up, he was like looking at me, and he had like this look on his face like he was irritated or something. And I was looking at him like this. Then he started talking to R, and I was talking to his grandmother. So then R came back over to me. He was like, okay, I have to go, so I guess I'll see you another time or whatever. And he said bye. He didn't give me a hug or a kiss or nothing. So I just thought it was kind of weird, like, what's the problem? A few days after that, he had like texted me and he was like, so my grandmother told me something today and I have to tell you. And I was like, okay, what is it? He was like, so my grandmother told me that she knows that we're together, and she also told me that my grandfather is racist and he doesn't like black people. So I was like, okay, so that's why he was looking like irritated, like, what are you doing? And so there was that. So I was like, well, okay. I was like, what does that mean for us? Like, are you... He was like, oh, nothing. It's not going to affect us in any way. I was like, okay, well, if you don't like black people, that don't really got nothing to do with me. I'm not coming for him. I'm for you. So we had planned like another date. I don't remember. I know like during the summer and stuff, we were back and forth to seeing each other. So I'm going to say about around maybe like September of 2020. This is like the most recent thing I remember. After that was we had planned to, or maybe, you know what, I think it was October, because during October they always have Florida, Georgia. And this was back when, if you live in Jacksonville now, then you know like the Jacksonville landing and stuff has been taken down. But this was back when the landing was up and it was still clubs. It was still like, it was still popping and stuff. So me and my sister, we would go down to the landing. So it was October 2012, I think. We went down to the landing for Florida, Georgia. But before that, me and R had planned a date. We had planned to meet at the Regal movie theater that's down the street from the mall that we were going back and forth to. And so I actually caught there was a shuttle that actually, I think it was a shuttle or a city bus, but I know both used to come in front of these apartments that we lived at. And I know I had caught the bus over because it stops in front of the movie theater. So I caught it there and I walked up to the movie theater. And I was like, I was standing in the front and I was texting him and I was like, so are you coming, or like, are your grandparents going to bring you? I think he told me he was already going to be there. So when I got there, he wasn't there. So I was like, I think I called him or whatever, and I was like, what's going on? Are y'all like running late or something? So he was like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to come to the movies. And I was like, what? I was like, I mean, you told me that you were coming. I got on the bus and I'm standing out here. And he was like, my grandfather is acting like being like an asshole right now. He won't bring me. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, I don't know why he all of a sudden. I was like, well, didn't you tell me he don't like black people? Like, so that's why he not bringing you. Well, I got like really angry, and basically I had to wait for the bus to come back. I can't remember if I had to wait for the bus to come back or if someone picked me up, if my parents picked me up or something. But all I know is I was very pissed off. So then my sister was like, well, let's go to Florida, Georgia. So I was like, yeah, let's just do that. I don't want to sit here. I done got dressed and all of that. So we can just go do something else. So yeah, we went downtown and did Florida, Georgia and all that, and we had fun. So I was still upset because I did want to see him, but it was whatever. So basically, Granddad, because he was the one who was driving, didn't bring him to see me no more. So I guess he thought that, oh, well, if I don't take him, then he ain't going to be able to see her no more, and they going to break up. I don't know what his plan was. I'm thinking that's what it was. Anyway, he started taking the bus to come see me. So then it was like, well, yeah, we can just do that. So catching the bus to see each other, and they did that for a while. And then I think like in 2013, was in 2012. I think I'm getting the dates mixed up. So I think some of that stuff happened in 2011, 2012. Okay, so 2012, this was when things actually started to go south. Like, everything was fine in the beginning. I was excited to see him, but then in 2012, stuff just started happening, and it was just like, I was thinking like, okay, what's this? What is this? I remember I was sitting in my room one day. I was talking to him on the phone, and out of the blue, he just told me, y'all, do what I'm about to tell y'all. This whole situation is a trip. It's a trip. And when y'all hear about it, then I'm going to tell y'all, like, just listen. This is a trip. So I was texting him or whatever and stuff. We was talking about, like, probably video games or just, like, random stuff. But then he was like, so one of my ex-girlfriends, she keeps, like, harassing me and stuff like. Now, me, I'm going to just say this. If I'm your girl, if you're my boyfriend, I am very territorial. I'm very territorial. You are mine, and I don't want nobody else looking at you. I don't want nobody else talking to you. Like, it ain't none of that. You mine. If you mine, you mine. And that's that. Of course, when he told me that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so who is this? Why is she talking to you? I was like, what is she saying? He was like, oh, she trying to get back together with me and stuff like that. And she saw our pictures and stuff of us kissing on Facebook, and she like complaining about it. And I was like, okay, well, you need to tell her that you moved on and she need to leave you alone, or she gonna have to deal with me. So then he was like, oh, don't worry, don't say nothing, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, I need to know who it is. He did not want me to know who this girl was. He didn't want me to say nothing to her. So he was like, just don't worry about it. He was like, she's nothing, I don't care about her anymore. And I was like, well, she needs to stop messaging you. You need to block her or something. He was like, okay, I'm gonna block her. I was like, okay, all right, cool. And I thought about that, but then I kind of let it go, because I was naive, so I believed him. Like, okay, he said he blocked her, he don't want her, he's coming to see me, so it's not nothing to worry about, right? Wrong. It wasn't long after that I get a message on Facebook. It's some girl, and she's like, she messaged me, and she was like, hi, are you ours girlfriend? And I was like, I typed back, I was like, yeah, who's this? She was like, oh, he told me that y'all broke up in September. And I was like, excuse me? And she was like, yeah, I'm his ex-girlfriend. I can't remember her name. I think her name was Brianna or something like that. She was like, but yeah, he told me that y'all had broke up, or that you weren't really together or something. And I was thinking like, oh, I thought like this must be the one he was telling me about. So I like went off on this girl. I like texted her, and I was like, he told me that you've been trying to get him to break up with me. You've been complaining about our pictures I'm taking, and you trying to steal him. I was like, you better leave him alone, or I'm gonna come beat your ass and all that. So then she was like, wow, I guess he lied to me or whatever. And I was like, I had blocked her. I was like, girl, get out of my face. I was like, then I told him, I went and told him, I was like, guess what? Your ex-girlfriend messaged me and told me that you told her that we broke up in September. This was funny. He was like, so he was like, oh, well, no, I didn't tell her that. And I was like, I told you she's crazy. I was like, yeah, that was weird that she was messaging me and stuff like that. So that was that incident. And I was still worried, and happened to go on the girl's profile after the message, and she had pictures of him and everything, and she was like, I love you so much, R, please be mine again, and stuff like that. And I was like, what in the hell is... I was like, did you see her profile? She like putting up pictures of you and saying y'all will be together and come back to her and stuff. He was like, just ignore it, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So was getting kind of skeptical, like, okay, is this going, like, am I gonna have to fight somebody or what? I don't know. It was that incident. Time went by after that, so everything was cool. We were still back and forth to see each other. This was the same year, but it was probably maybe, I don't know, maybe a month or so later. I think I was playing video games or something, and y'all, how about I got a message on Facebook again, but it wasn't from the same girl. It was from another girl. And she was like, hi. I was like, you're ours girlfriend, right? And I was like, who are you? Or no, she didn't ask me that. She was like, hi, are you ours girlfriend, or are you another one of his friends or whatever? And I was like, excuse me, what are you talking about? And apparently this girl that was messaging me, he dated her friend or whatever, and I guess she was vouching for her or whatever. She was messaging me. She was like, yeah, R dated my best friend or whatever, or he was supposed to be her boyfriend, but now I see him on here with you and stuff, but he's supposed to be with her and stuff. And I was like, I'm his girlfriend. I mean, what are you talking about? And she was like, wow. She was like, so he's such a liar and stuff. And she was like, we just talked to him like a few days ago. Like, he was saying he wanted to come see her and stuff like that. Y'all, when I told y'all that when this girl said this to me, mind you, this was the second person that came and said that he was with them. I read that message, my heart just dropped, and I was like, I was speechless. Like, I was like, what is this guy like really lying to me? Is he really like talking to all these girls and blowing my head up? And so the girl, basically, that was her best friend, so she was like telling her all this stuff. She was telling me all of this stuff that, like, she was like, we had just video chatted with him, and he was saying he would come over and see my friend and all of that. And I remember, like, he was like, I was on the camera with her and everything. And it was just, when I heard all of this stuff, I was just like, so it was a few days ago. She was like, yes, a few days ago. She was like, well, thank you for telling me, because now I'm about to tell my best friend what a liar he is and to stay away from him and stuff like that. So y'all can pretty much guess what I did after that. I messaged him, or I called him, and I was like, so I can't even remember what the other girl's name was. So I was like, so who is such and such? He was like, who? I was like, don't lie to me, please. Who is? I just got a message from whoever this girl is. Her best friend messaged me and told me that you're supposedly with her best friend, and that you just video chatted with her a few days ago and stuff. I was like, who is that and what's going on? Y'all believe this idiot told me the stupidest thing ever. He said, oh, that was my twin brother.
Huh?
At the pause, his twin brother. I was like, you have a twin brother. He actually told the first girlfriend, the first ex, that basically she said that he told her that the guy in the pictures with me was his twin brother, and that wasn't really him. He told me, he was like, yeah, I have a twin brother from my dad's side of some stupid he made up. And then he also told me, oh, sometimes I let my friends use my number, so one of them was probably talking to her. And I was like, no, she said your name, so what's going on? Like, what are you doing? So then that's when the arguments and stuff started, and I stopped trusting him. And his thing was, if I didn't trust him, he got very angry, like, and he would like try to break up or something. And like, I know we got in an argument about it once or whatever, and he was like, you know what, I don't want to be with somebody who don't trust me. I was like, well, you gave me a reason not to, so what am I supposed to do? All these girls are messaging me and telling me that you with their friend, or you with them, you telling them you got a twin brother, you telling them we ain't together, what am I supposed to believe? He didn't hear none of that. It was just, oh, I don't want to be with somebody who don't trust me. So at that time, the relationship was still fresh. So of course I got upset, and I was like, I'm sorry. I don't want anything to happen with us. I'm sorry. Like, I was apologizing for something I didn't do. It's his mistake, it's not mine. So yeah, I didn't trust him. And he tried to break up with me, but then he was like, I'll give you another chance. First of all, I'm the one who should be giving you another chance. But of course, I was stupidly apologizing. He, I guess this was his way of me trusting him. This was stupid on his part, because when he did this, I found out everything I needed to know. When you hear this, then you probably gonna be like, well, why did you stay with him? Let me tell y'all. So he was like, I'm going to give you the password to my Facebook and stuff like this because I want you to trust me or whatever. And I mean, at the time I thought, oh, so maybe he really do care because he giving me his password. So he gave me his password. So, of course, after the stuff that had been happening, I would log in and go through his messages. So he's not that smart. I don't know if he's matured now, but back then he was very dumb. And I guess he thought I was dumb and I wasn't going to think to do this. I guess the messages he didn't want me to see, he put them in the archive folder. But you can look in the archive. That's not deleting the message. So I guess he thought I was dumb or something. But I am very computer savvy. Like I like look around and look like in the crevices of everything. So I saw like the inbox, and it just had like normal messages. So then I went to the archive just to see, like, when I tell y'all it was so many messages in that archive folder, even a lot of them was recent, and it was so upsetting. And the first one I clicked on was the message from the very first ex that messaged me. Y'all, I went through this whole conversation, and when I was finished, I was ready to cry. Remember when I told y'all the girl told me that he told her that we broke up in September, that I was with his twin brother and stuff like that? And he told me that she was crazy and he didn't say that. That was a lie. He told her everything that she told me. Everything that girl said, it was in the messages from him.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
He said that basically, he was saying that I was just a cover-up and that I wasn't really his girlfriend. He said I was with his twin brother. He said that his grandfather didn't like black people, so we weren't going to be together much longer and all kind of stuff. So I was like, this mother is lying to me. So I closed that message. Then I opened another one from the other girl, the one that had the friend that messaged me. He was talking to her and stuff, and they was talking sexual and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this motherfucker. I got really upset. I was like, and that's what I'm saying. The stupid thing is he thought he somehow like hid this and I wasn't gonna be able to. I saw everything. I was thinking like, you are very stupid because I just caught you in all your lies. I didn't want to start another argument, but at the same time, it was bothering me so much of that stuff that I saw, and the fact that he lied right to my face and on the phone and everything, and told me that it was nothing to worry about and that it was a lie and he had a twin brother and all of this bull. So then I was like, so I thought you said that your ex was crazy. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I found the messages in the archive folder. I was like, you know that don't delete stuff, right? And he was like, that wasn't me that was writing. I was like, are you really trying to like sit here and tell me that twin brother bullshit again? And he was like, it wasn't me. He was like, it was like he was just telling her all kind of stuff. Like, then I saw a recent message also in there from her where was after she talked to me. She like went off of him and she was like, you are such a liar. She was like, you told that girl that I'm a liar and I'm crazy and I'm trying to steal you. And she was like, and you lied to me about having a twin brother and all. I saw all of that. So I was like, so you really lied to her and me? And he was like, I guess he just made up whatever he thought I was going to believe, but I didn't believe nothing. I already didn't trust him. That's why I went to the messages. So we was arguing again. He tried to break up again. Then he was like, I'll give you just the same thing, another chance and all that stupid mess. So I just wanted all of this to stop. I just wanted it to stop. I was like, I just want you to stop doing this. I thought you said that you were into me. He was like, I am into you and stuff. I was like, well, I'm sick of all these girls messaging me. Then I read the messages and you telling the girls the stuff and then you lying and saying you ain't saying it. So it was just like a lot of drama and stuff in the beginning. So I think this was still in 2012. I remember I was sitting in the living room and I was watching one of my favorite movies. I remember, I do remember this like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the living room. We had this big TV, and I was watching Confessions of a Shopaholic. Y'all, that's my movie. Okay, so I was watching it, and so, I don't know if everybody probably should be familiar with this, but the app Text Free or whatever. Actually, this was, okay, I'm going to start with the very last day of May, because this was from that day all the way until the next day on April Fool's Day. And I'm telling y'all, ever since this day, ever since this incident happened, I can't stand April Fool's Day because it always makes me think of that. So it was May 31st, I think. So it was that night. I know I had been talking to R or whatever, but then it was like, it was still kind of early, but all of a sudden he just stopped texting me. Like, he just stopped texting. And I was like, I was blowing him up, and I was like, hello, are you not gonna say goodnight, or what? Why are you not talking to me? I just went to bed, and I was like, well, maybe he fell asleep or something. Maybe he fell asleep playing video games. Because he was he is, I know he still is a hardcore gamer. So he played video games all day long, all night long. So I was like, well, he probably fell asleep. So I woke up the next day, and I was watching Confessions of a Shopaholic. He still hadn't texted me back. So I was texting him or whatever. And so, he wasn't answering. So what I did was, he had a text-free account too, because his phone was off. So I remember he said that he used the same password for everything. So yes, I logged into his text-free account. When I logged into that text-free account, I really wanted to go find him, and just the same time the night before, now remind y'all, it's April Fool's Day, it's the next day. The night before, when he stopped texting me, apparently he was talking to this other girl all night. And I thought he was asleep. He was talking to this other girl. This wasn't the other two. This was another girl. And they was on the phone. They was talking. He was calling her like pet names, and they was talking sexual and all of this stuff. And I was like, what in the is going on? I was like, did he really do this to me? I got so full of anger at that moment. I started typing on his text-free account to the girl, and I was like, who the are you? And she was like, excuse me? I was like, this is R's girlfriend. Who are you, and why are you talking to him like this? She was like, I'm just a friend. And I was like, these messages don't look like you just a friend. I was like, so I've been trying to text him since last night, and he up here with you. I was like, who are you? She was like, I'm just a friend. I'm just a friend. I was like, no. I was like, so now you about to get Ryan in trouble. Said his name. Now you about to get him in trouble. So I was up there. I was going off on her. So then all of a sudden some other messages came in from him. He was messaging, and I guess he saw whatever. He was like, what's wrong? I was just sitting there watching the conversation or whatever. I stopped talking. So then I saw him come in. I guess he didn't know that I had logged in and saw everything. He was like, what's wrong? She was like, your girlfriend is harassing me. And I was like, what? I'm harassing you? And he was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, she was just on here talking to me and stuff on the same phone number. She was like, does she have your phone? He was like, she doesn't have my phone. It's locked up in my drawer. She was like, well, she's talking to me on the same messages, and she says that you about to get in trouble and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't know what you talking. It was like he was like, said this, and then I was like, then I knew something was going on. He was like, well, you didn't tell her, did you? And she was like, I promise I didn't tell her anything. I got mad or whatever, and I was like, tell me what? So then guess what else happened? I get a text from Text Free on my phone. I was on the computer in his account because you could access Text Free on the computer. So I got a message on my phone, and he was like, what's wrong? And when I saw that, I looked at their phone like, you about to find out what's wrong. I went off on, I was like, so what did she not supposed to tell me? So you cheating on me? Like, who is, I've been blowing you up since last night and you've been ignoring me on purpose and you've been talking to this girl. And what's she not supposed to tell me? He was probably, I don't remember exactly what he said. He was like, oh, she's just a friend. I was like, no, she's not just a friend. Don't even give me that. I was like, because obviously y'all got some kind of secret that she don't. I was like, what's going on? So there was, it's popular in, like, I guess I'm gonna call it a fetish because that's what it is, but he was into the dom and submissive thing. So that's basically what they were talking about. I had no idea what that was. So when I saw them talking about it, I thought it was, I mean, I know it doesn't necessarily, everything about it is not about sex, but I took it as that when I saw it. So I was like, you're calling her like pet all these names and stuff like that. He actually did like ask me to do this, and I said I would give it a try. So, but I didn't understand it. I just said yes to whatever because I guess because I liked them. I saw him doing it with this other girl, and I was like, so I don't know what to think. I was like really upset, and I was like, you better stop talking to that girl. I was like, if you don't stop talking to her, then we through. Like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of seeing I'm tired of other girls messaging me. I'm tired of you looking in your messages and you lying and then you ignoring me and stuff. I was like, so the times that, and he actually, there was a lot of times where he would not text me or something like that, and he would claim he was going to the doctor for some kind of condition that he had, and I think he lied about that because I never once saw anything that was wrong with him. So come to find out, like, the times that he disappeared, he probably was out with his grandparents, but other times he actually was talking to or probably with another girl or talking to a video chat or whatever. So it was just like to the point where I was like, you know what, I don't trust this nigga at all. I don't trust him. So I got upset and I was like, you gonna have to make a decision because I'm tired of this. So he went back in the messages, in his messages. I was still in his account. He went up there and messaged her. He was like, I have to block you or whatever because my girlfriend is acting stupid over stuff. And he was like, I can't talk to you anymore. He was like, goodbye, friend, and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm getting mad over stupid stuff. I was like, this is not my fault. This is yours. He acted like he was mad at me because he had to block the girl and all this stupid mess. So whatever. Of course, we went through, that's trying to see if there's anything else I'm forgetting in 2012. I don't think I am. So we can go to 2013. 2013, I know we had actually moved from the apartment and we moved somewhere else. So it was just the same thing. We was back and forth. He came over to see me. I went to see him. And I know it was one incident where so this is actually going to be a long video. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. I will be posting part 2. Told y'all the first half. Hope y'all liked it. We will get to the work. So thank y'all so much for watching this video. Subscribe to our channel. See y'all in the next part.